The first step to investing is saving up enough disposable income to actually invest in the stock market in the first place. So today I'm going to share with you a few tips and tricks for saving money in your day-to-day life, as well as a strategy for consistently saving money every single week. How's it going, guys? Ryan here with another investing video, and today we're talking about something slightly different and not investing itself, rather saving money so that you can actually start investing and, more importantly, invest consistently. We're going to effectively talk about a few different strategies on how to cut costs out of your day-to-day life, as well as some actual strategies for that consistent saving as well. But before we get into that, guys, please remember to like the video. It helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for more investing and wealth management content, and leave some tips down below in the comments section on how you save money that you can invest every single month in the stock market. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So kicking off with the first way to save some money in your day-to-day life, and it comes down to subscription-based services. And the fact of the matter is, so many services these days are subscription based, anything from music such as Spotify to things like gaming such as World of Warcraft accounts and that sort of thing. These subscriptions consistently take money out of your savings account every single month and effectively leave you with less money on the table. What we're seeing here is a trend that keeps rolling over, and often people forget about them. So for instance, if we're looking at magazines or newspaper subscriptions, even the WoW accounts or Spotify accounts, people see these things as necessities when in fact it's not necessarily the case. A lot of the information or the music or other games are available free online. And the fact of the matter is, subscriptions are simply just not a necessity in this aspect. You can save so much money per month with many subscription services costing over $15 to $20 per month. And that will effectively save you, if you've already got a few of these going on, at least $50 a month if we're talking 3 to 4 subscription services. That is quite a significant amount of money when you look at it over a long period of time. For instance, if you're looking at a $50 cost saving over the period of 12 months, you're looking at saving an additional $600 of disposable income that you can be putting towards your investing account. Cost saving tip number 2, and in my opinion this is probably the easiest thing you can stop doing right now in order to save money, and that is buying new things that you simply don't need. The latest phones, the latest clothes, the latest car, whatever it is, these are things that you do not necessarily need, and you can find, if it was a need, a cheaper version of it. Instead of buying that, new Gucci top for a few $100s, why don't you just go down to somewhere like Kmart and buy a $5 or $10 top if you really need it. Best case scenario, don't buy anything at all. The latest iPhone, do you need it? If you've currently got a phone which is working, is there any point in upgrading? It is effectively just a waste of money in that scenario. This is simply the easiest way to just stop wasting your money overall, because effectively there's no other influencing factors other than the fact that it's something you want rather than something you need, and doesn't even involve any social circles typically. So effectively what you're doing here is eliminating a large cost, and from person to person this cost can vary. I know back in the day when I was not looking at my savings per month so intensely, I was spending at least a few $100s per month on these sort of luxury items such as high-end clothes that I simply did not need. And this is money that's straight back into the pocket. But as I said, this is such a variable amount. You could be spending anything from $100 to $1,000 to $2,000 if you go absolutely crazy on it per month. And that is an insane amount of money when you add it up. Cost cutting tip number 3, and this is actually probably the more hard one because it involves, as I mentioned before, social circles, and sometimes it can actually involve addictions as well. And this is cutting out the, going out on the weekend, alcohol, tobacco, all that sort of stuff, because the price of that is absolutely insane. On a typical night out back in my teenage years, I was spending at least $200 to $300, and this consisted of things such as Uber, alcohol, entry to clubs, dinner, that sort of thing, all in one night. And I did this consistently every single weekend, and the amount of money I threw away, but it was fun, it was insane. It was just a lot of money that was wasted unnecessarily. I agree though, when you're young, go out, enjoy yourself. Even from time to time, go out, enjoy yourself, spend a bit of money from time to time. And that's the key here, guys. Don't make it a consistent habit where you're just spending absolutely insane amounts of money every single week. As I mentioned, I spent $300 roughly per weekend when I was going out, if I went out one night a weekend. And typically we're looking at, that means roughly $1,200 to $1,500 per month wasted, gone. Never gonna see that money ever again. The experiences were great, but at the end of the day, we're talking about how can we easily save money here. You can replace these sort of activities with other activities as well. So instead of going out, to a club or to a pub and drinking with your mates, you're paying, your Uber, your taxi fares, you're paying for drinks, you're paying for food, all that sort of stuff. Why not have a night in at home with your friends? You buy alcohol from the bottle shop or the supermarket, and you buy food from, or you cook yourself or something like that. The cost saving is going to be significant. If we're talking like a carton of beer in Australia, we're talking about $50 a carton, and that effectively would serve you for a few people a single night. That's it. That's the whole cost, as opposed to, $100, $150 per person if you're going out. This is one of the simplest ways to save money, but in the same sense, it is also one of the hardest because you've got those social pressures there as well. The thing to do is try and fight them as much as possible. As I said, it doesn't mean not going out and enjoying yourself once every now and then. There is always the other options available, and if you minimize it as much as possible as well, that means you will be saving money. When you combine these 3 cost-saving measures that I've just explained, you're saving a lot of money. You could literally be talking per month a few $1,000s. And that's purely due to the fact that a lot of people allocate their disposable income to going out and enjoying stuff in the short term as opposed to investing it for the long-term gains. And that would mean for someone who was in my position, go back 6 or 7 years ago, going out, enjoying myself, that I would be saving a lot more money. I personally would roughly be saving $2,000 to $2,500 additional per month since I started working full-time. If I went back 5 years, for instance, in those few years where I still was indulging in these sorts of things. And the amount of money you're saving here is just absolutely insane. As I also promised, guys, I wanted to share with you a few different strategies so that you can consistently save money that don't involve cutting things out of your life. So the first one I want to share with you is the $5 challenge. And effectively what the $5 challenge is, every time you receive a $5 note, you put that money away. You don't touch it until the end of the year. And effectively what you do is, every time you receive a $5 note, you put it away, you store it away, then at the end of that 12 months, you have access to that money, you can get it out and it's sitting there and you've saved X amount of money. Obviously that is going to vary from person to person. But at the end of the day, that's more money you've saved than you wouldn't have by purely just taking every single $5 note and putting it away as a saving. And the benefit to this strategy is you can even upscale it if you think that is possible. Let's say every time you receive a $5 or a $10 note, you put that away. $20 note, $50 note, whatever it may be, put that money away. And effectively what you're doing is forcing yourself to save. And there's no ifs or buts. It's every time you receive that denomination, you put that money away and it is saved. Now let's step it up a notch. Instead of talking saving denominations of money, let's talk about saving percentages of income. So if you get paid fortnightly or monthly, I like to use the 80-20 rule. So the 80 goes to all the things that you need, where you effectively have, your living expenses, your needs, your necessities, that sort of thing. Allocate a bit of money to your wants and that sort of thing. But then that 20% you dedicate to investments. If you want to add more on a income basis, then absolutely you can. If you've got an additional disposable income, you don't want to spend it, add it in. But you're still saving that 20% as a mandatory factor per month, per fortnight, whatever the time frame is that you get paid in. This builds up over time and quite quickly, guys. Time flies, as you know, and this money increases at the same rate. As your income increases as well, you effectively start putting aside a lot more money. And what you're doing then is you're not just putting it aside, you're consistently investing this money into the stock market, putting that money into the investment portfolio that you've put together and accumulating more shares. What this is doing then is it's not sitting in your savings account and drying up. Effectively, what you're doing is making your money work for you. You're growing your money. You're putting your money into the stocks that you hold, which you have done your research on and you think will increase in the future. Effectively, what's happening then is a twofold occurrence. One, you're consistently injecting capital into your account, and two, that money is becoming exponential in the sense of, if you have a growth stock that is going up 5 to 10% roughly every few months, a year, whatever it is, you are injecting that more money into it, it's growing in value, and it is increasing in size over time. It's going exponentially. So we're seeing a huge increase in value over time. So guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, I appreciate a like. It helps me out so much. And if you enjoyed this sort of content, remember to subscribe to the channel. We talk about investing, the stock market news in general, wealth management, all that sort of cool stuff. And leave down below in the comments section some of the money saving tips that you have that means you can invest consistently in the stock market every single month. And with that, guys, I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.